All right, guys, I'm just going to give you a quick overview. We're going to talk about Russia, China, and India today. The Russian Revolution is going to take place in 1917. Uh, Basically, they enter World War One, and then they don't finish it with everyone else. They drop out early to have a civil war. They've got lots of industrial revolution, uh, industrial growth taking place beforehand. The Trans-Siberian Railroad we had talked about before, it's finally finished. The working class during this big industrial growth is called the proletariat. They're not happy with the conditions. So think back on Russia. There was the Russo-Japanese War. Bloody Sunday in 1905 was a revolt by the proletariat, that working class. And then 1914 to 1918's World War One. They drop out in 1917. If you guys remember all the casualties that Russia had from that uh, last notes where it showed that chart of all the different countries. Russia dropped out early, but they still had the most casualties. All these things are going to make it possible for Russia to have their revolution. One character that early on in the 1900s in Russia is Rasputin. If you want to learn more about him, it's here. But he was shot, stabbed, uh, poisoned, and then eventually drowned. He was kind of mystical. He's an interesting character. If you want to learn more about him, watch that video. The revolution itself is going to be led by Vladimir Lenin. He's head of the Bolsheviks party. The Bolsheviks, while they're in charge, from 1916 to 1922, they go small scale capitalism. They renamed themselves the USSR, and they also renamed the party itself the Communist Party. Lenin dies in 22, and Joseph Stalin comes to power after that. There's a bio on Stalin if you want to watch that. He's the guy who shifts the USSR from that little capitalism to communism. Sets up a command economy, so the government's making all economic decisions. He has this great purge where he's taking out anyone who opposes him. While he's in power, there's World War II, and there's also his Great Purge. There's also a lot of starvation, so like the death toll, we're not really sure how many people he killed, but estimates put it between 8 and 13 million people killed. The collective farms, owned entirely by the government, run by people who wouldn't necessarily be farmers. A lot of those collective farms failed under Stalin, uh, and that causes a lot of starvation throughout the country. Women gain rights under Stalin's rule because women, they're no longer staying at home with the kids. They're going to have to go work in different jobs as well. They're going to join the labor force. Jumping to China, when we left off there, the Qing dynasties in power. The Republic of China shows up in 1912, and there's a conflict between the old and new ways. They declare war on Germany during World War One, trying to get some territory. They don't get any. The May the 4th movement is the birth of Chinese nationalism. You now have two big characters leading one leading the communist, one leading the republic, and Mao Zedong for the communist, Jiang Zeshi for the republic. They fight throughout the 30s. Mao ends up losing tons and tons of men. Eventually, Japan invades and occupies China. India, we talked about the British occupying there. If you guys look through these notes, you'll see all the different things that happened throughout India, and eventually Mahatma Gandhi, a great soul, he comes to lead a civil disobedience movement. He's responsible for the Salt March going against British taxes, and he's trying to fight so that uh, India can rule itself. In 1935, the British grant limited self rule, and then in 47, India and Pakistan get divided so that they are able to rule independently. When you look at India and Pakistan, they are divided by religion. There's a Gandhi documentary if you'd like to learn more about him. Your assignment today, it's posted on Classroom already. You guys are going to do reading about the Russian Revolution and then answer some questions about it. Awesome. If you have any questions, shoot me an email.